Dear Lord, the battles we go through in life.
Dear Lord, the battles we go through in life.
We ask for a chance that is fair.
We ask for a chance that is fair.
The morning of October 16, 2010, it just felt like any other game. My head collides right with his legs. I'm trying to push off the ground, but nothing's working. The doctor comes in, Chris, you're never gonna move anything in your legs ever again. I'm gonna prove this doctor wrong. I was born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa. My parents were just so supportive and optimistic, and those really instilled those values into me, and being Christians and having that faith is also an instrumental part of my upbringing.
Since Chris was a young boy, he's always been very involved in sports and very competitive.
I played basketball, football, baseball, soccer, track.
His favorite definitely was football.
I loved the physicality of it. When I got the shoulder pads on and the helmet on, I turned into this aggressive individual.
Norton with blockers out in front of him. He could go all the way.
My sophomore year, I was able to start on the varsity team, and I think a big part of that was not being afraid when I played. So I thought, you know, why not just give football a try?
He ended up getting a full ride to Luther College.
Summer of 2010, 18-year-old freshman, just wanted to keep things going according to plan.
For the first few weeks of school, he was meeting new people, got into his dorm room, settled in, and was just loving life.
I didn't really know what I wanted to be, and so I was taking some business and some political science classes. Football was just more of a thing to do to kind of get my competition out. The morning of October 16, 2010, just felt like any other game. We started off slowly, got chewed out at halftime, and then that third quarter, we started mounting a comeback. We scored a touchdown, and this is my turn to make a play. I'm on the kickoff team. You always get up and excited for that opportunity to make an impact. I'm sprinting downfield as hard as I can go. And I see the opening of where the ball carrier is going to come through. And I dive, and I mistime my jump just by a split second. My head collides right with his legs. Come on, Chris, get up. Let's go. And I'm trying to push off the ground, but nothing's working. I just felt like I was just ahead.
His family came rushing down. The entire stadium became quiet.
It was like a nightmare unfolding before me, and if I could just keep my eyes closed, then maybe it's not real.
Chris was airlifted to a local hospital. After numerous tests with MRIs and CAT scans, they determined that Chris had a fracture of the vertebrae at C3 and C4, one of the most severe fractures you can possibly get with a spinal cord injury.
And the surgeon asked, Chris, do you have any questions? And I had one question I'd been wanting to ask, but I've been too scared. And that was, will I walk again? I'll never forget the look on his face. He just said, I don't know. And that was like the first time I just lost it. God, I don't care if I ever play a sport again, just give me the ability to walk. The next thing I know, I'm asleep and out for surgery. When I woke up on October 17th, 2010, the first conversation I had was with my surgeon. He said I had a 3% chance to get anything back below the neck. Not just walk, but to move, to be able to scratch an itch on your face, to be able to feed yourself, bathe yourself. I just had to reject it because this was, again, it wasn't part of the plan. It's not going to be part of my life. So I just need to do whatever it takes to be in that 3% and not end up like the 97%. 5 weeks after my injury, I've been making some decent progress. My left toe had this new sensation. So the doctor comes in and I'm sharing the details and something special is going on with my left big toe. And he said, Chris, you're experiencing a phantom feeling. Your brain tricked you into thinking it's real. The last thing he says is, Chris, you're never gonna move anything in your legs ever again. I'm devastated. I'm gonna prove this doctor wrong. Finally, when we get to the end and I look out, everybody in that room was bawling, crying. continue to work on my walking and try to take those steps on my own. And so what started out as 1 hour of therapy grew to 3 hours of therapy. 3 hours wasn't enough, and so I asked for a 4th hour, and they said, no one's actually asked for a 4th hour. I get that 4th hour. I asked for 5 hours. I never actually got it, but I had workouts I could do on my own or with my family outside of my scheduled training time. And so if I wasn't sleeping, I was working. Thanksgiving morning, of all mornings, I wiggled that exact left big toe, and I was pumped. I was ecstatic. I remember telling my sisters and my parents, told me, you go find that doctor, as I wiggle my toe in his face. I stayed at Rochester, Minnesota for about 7 months, 3 months inpatient, 4 months outpatient. Transitioned back home, and I knew I wanted to continue my college education. Thankfully, with my family, they made arrangements to make it work where I could live on campus with a group of friends I made from football and from my time at school.
Along with all the physical issues that Chris had going back to college, he really felt unlovable for quite a long time and just wondered what kind of woman would sign up for this.
I didn't know who that person would be. That was always a worry of mine, will I meet that girl?
His friends encouraged him to do online dating.
I made this online profile, never put much stock or emphasis on it.
We started talking, he started talking to me, and I remember looking him up and found out more information about his story and everything. I'm very curious because he seems so positive. How can you be positive and this positive when you're dealing with so much adversity and so many different challenges every day? So we ended up meeting up at a hot dog stand in Ames.
I was thinking in the back of my mind, does she realize I'm in a wheelchair? And then I see this girl walking across the street, heading right towards my direction. And I remember seeing her and being oh my goodness, she was just so beautiful. She was asking me all these hard-hitting questions, I was being interviewed. What were your first thoughts after you were told you had a 3% chance? What goes through your mind? I was wow, no one's ever asked me that. That's kind of how the conversation and my connection with her really grew.
And we felt like we had always known each other.
She gave me so much confidence in myself, and she was such a passionate, hardworking individual, and she just lifted me up. I knew that us together, we're stronger together. She's special.
Chris mentioned to Emily that he wanted to walk across the stage at his college graduation.
Emily really kind of took it upon herself that I want to see this happen. I want you to do this. She would come to every single workout. And then we started training ourselves just together. She became my little junior physical therapist, working me out, and we do extra workouts. And it was her goal to walk across the stage, and it just shows how unselfish she is. The day before the graduation, I've been planning to propose to Emily. And I've had all these different plans. I'm a videographer, photographer. I'm gonna have her family there. Brought her in this restaurant. Oh yeah, we have a present for you out in the back room.
For the rest of my life, I think there's no doubt in my mind. You're the most amazing person I've ever met in my life. Will you please marry me and share the rest of my life?
I'm surprised you're pretty good.
I would have never thought that he would put something like that in a weekend already, that there was just so much stress and worry and all those the unknown of what was gonna happen. I was very surprised.
Love you.
The morning of the graduation, we woke up about 4 a.m. just because to get my body awoke and ready. Just kind of going through it,
all
stretching,
that kind of stuff. Yeah, just getting ready.
And just kind of keep myself energized and distracted and not getting too nervous. I really want to show people how far I've come and that it's worth it to keep going and keep trying.
Over a year ago, I set the goal to walk across the stage of graduation.
Christopher Norton.
As we're going across the stage, I'm so focused on my steps. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna execute each step. It's hard not to notice all the yells and the clapping and the energy in the room. It's what's going on? Why are people getting so excited about this? Finally, when we get to the end and I look out, everybody in that room was bawling, crying.
This is
I was like, what is going on? Like, I did not expect that. I thought the opposite. Maybe people would be like, you done yet? Like, let's go.
You just felt it. Like, you just felt that people were being touched and impacted by this, and to know that, like, every single one of us, we are capable of doing that. Like, we are capable of impacting others by what we do, by what we say. Chris and I talked about keeping our home open to other kids, but at the time we're like, we'll take one kid under 2. Oh, you got it! We loved it so much. 8 months later, we now have 5 kids.
When Chris heard about this amazing clinic in Florida, they both decided that the best thing for the two of them would be to move there so that Chris could really get all the intensive training he needed to work his body the best he could.
We bought a house here because we're like, we are going all in.
2012, I started the Chris Norton Foundation.
And if I was able to, I would like to have been the first athlete to ever give a thumbs down. Not doing so good.
We've raised over $800,000 to benefit other people with spinal cord injuries and other neurological disorders, just to help them get back to their life.
I was determined that I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be that 3%.
When I went through this whole process, I realized there's not a lot of opportunities for someone in a wheelchair with a disability to have the same experiences as someone able-bodied. Just have those kind of fun experiences that at first, when I was injured, I thought were impossible. It's easy to think if you're in a wheelchair, life's over. But that's not the case. There's so many people out there that need more opportunities to get out of the hole.
Luther College brought him back for a football game. Before the game, he gave a motivational speech in the locker room and was then brought out onto the field, named an honorary captain, and he was there for the coin toss as well.
He was using what he had gone through. It was incredible to see what he was doing for others.
Chris wants to be a motivational speaker the rest of his life. He really feels like his purpose and the reason why he was put on this planet was to be able to do this.
It was amazing to see, just by me telling stories with no clear structure or order, they were just drawn to it and they wanted more of it. It slowly kind of turned into a business and a living of mine. I can support myself. It's been really rewarding for myself, and it creates so much meaning.
Oh, that's pretty cute, Izzy. Before I met Chris, I had a strong passion for foster care. I've come from a great family where my parents and siblings have always been there for each other. When I was in high school, I met a girl, Whitley. She ended up being taken away from her mom. She was put in a group home. I was 22, he was 23. She had called me and asked us if we would do foster care for her. This is something I always knew I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a foster parent. So we decided to become foster parents for her specifically.
They were frightened and excited at the same time.
Whitley, she was the first of her family to receive her diploma. Now she has goals to go to college, so she's planning on going to college. It's unreal to think where she's at now.
Chris and Emily sat down and decided they wanted to bring another young child into their family.
Chris and I talked about keeping our home open to other kids, but at the time we're like, we'll take one kid under 2. Oh, you got it! We loved it so much. 8 months later, we now have 5 kids.
You guys ready to go?
Yeah! We were able to keep a sibling group of 4 together, and then a little boy who has just been through a lot.
Now we're at the point where we've purchased a larger vehicle just to accept a larger placement of children.
They decided now, because they were engaged, that their next goal would be having Chris and Emily walk down the aisle together after they're married.
We had no idea how we were gonna do it. And 10 months ago, when we first tried, he couldn't even take one step. He's like, put me in bed, I am over this, just get me in bed. And then slowly but surely, every night, it would be one step, and then 2 steps, and then 3 steps.
Kept working at it and training to make sure it happened.
It was an ambitious goal. It was 7 yards, but once again they said, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it together.
A lot of people look at us and they say to me oh, that's so sweet that Chris is walking you down the aisle.
I'm not doing it for Emily, but doing it with Emily. And that together, I know we can make such a great impact with our passions, but also just to be an example. I think sometimes the world can seem dark and negative, and We want to just be that light in the world to show that life is awesome, and just don't give up on life. Just lean on God, persevere, work hard, and just love on others.
I just didn't know how the steps would go. So I was just like in the zone, just wanting to take those nice steps and take my time and enjoy the moment too.
It's crazy to think where we were 4 years ago, just meeting, and then to where we are now, like just what we've been able to accomplish, how we've grown individually, and how we have grown as a couple. Chris.
Life is a roller coaster. Like, there's been a lot of moments that have been really hard, that we've struggled.
Although you scare me with your ideas, I'm excited for our future and what lies ahead, even if it means taking on more than 5 kids. That was a joke. Don't take that seriously. I took it seriously.
When we stick together, anything is possible, and we just don't give up.
The struggles you go through, you come out so much stronger because of those difficult things. I'm ready for those challenges and ready to
bring them on.
Yeah, right, exactly.
She came down the aisle. I was tearing out, just feel so blessed, and I just feel so fortunate. Oh my gosh, like, that's my bride, and we're about to get married, and I just got all emotional. I'm just so thankful.
From this day forward, for better or for worse.
So beautiful with her dress and veil and earrings. Everything was just perfect.
My veil blowing everywhere.
Yeah, I loved it.
Based on the vows you have shared before God and these witnesses, by the authority committed to me as a representative of Jesus Christ and His church, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Chris, you may kiss your bride.
I just didn't know how the steps would go. So I was just like in the zone, just wanting to take those nice steps and take my time and enjoy the moment too. Just a couple steps were more difficult than others, but I was able to push through it and
just keep
was able
going.
to do it. Just to go from not even being able to take a step to be able to really
walk 7 yards.
Smoothly walk 7 yards.
I can't imagine what the future holds for us, because just seeing like what's happened over the last year, it's probably gonna be something crazy, especially with Emily, with her passion and her heart for it.
I really want to be able to raise more awareness for foster care and how great it is, because people hear bad stories, but like it is such a great thing. I'm so excited too to see the impact Chris is gonna have with his speaking, his foundation. When we die, like we want to know that our talents that God gave us, we use them. We made an impact and we use every single day to do what we can. So like that's our plan. At the end of the day, we want to just give everything we have. Like we want it to be all gone. Our talents, our money, everything. Like I don't want it when we pass away. Like I want it to be gone, and I want it to make this world a better place.
Seeing Chris and Emily together right away, you just know that they were meant for each other. They're just amazing people, and it was so inspiring. No matter what you go through in life, you can get through it, and they are a living example of that.
We just gotta keep saying yes.
Yes, gotta just keep saying yes.
Keep going and keep trying, keep moving forward, and beautiful moments can still happen.